For the section of applications of linear systems, I will not be writing out the problems when I work through these videos for the sake of saving space and being able to show the actual mathematics involved. If you want to see the problem written out, look at the page below. So for our first problem, we have the sum of two numbers is -5. When 6 times the first number is added to 5 times the second number, the sum is -10. What are the numbers? The first thing to keep in mind is you might have to read this numerous times. So again, look at the example below and read until you truly understand what's being said. If you don't understand the problem or what's being explained in the sentences, there's no way you're going to be able to put together a system of equations that describe that situation. So we want the sum of two numbers being -5, and 6 times the first number is added to 5 times the second number, the sum is -10. So we want to capture that information in equations. And in this situation, it's not too bad because what's being described to us in the sentence is already essentially an equation. We just have to convert those words right over to actual mathematical equation form. So the sum of two numbers is -5. So why don't we pick our placeholders for our two numbers, our variables, to be x and y. So the sum of those, so x plus y, we're told the sum of two numbers is -5, so x plus y is -5. That's one of our equations, but since we have two variables, we're going to need two equations. So we need to come up with another one, and that's where the more complicated sentence comes into play. So 6 times the first number is added to 5 times the second. So 6 times the first number would be 6x, since x is the first number, is added to 5 times the second, 5y, equals, it says the sum is -10. We now have our system of equations, and we can solve that in order to figure out what these two numbers are. So, why don't we take the first equation and solve it for one of these variables and use substitution? So I will take this equation, subtract x from both sides, so I'm going to get that y is equal to -5 minus x. Now I'm going to take this value for y and substitute it into the second equation. So instead of writing out y, we're going to write what y is equal to. So when we do that, we get 6x plus 5. And again, instead of writing y, like in the original equation right here, we're going to write what y is equal to. -5 minus x equals -10. And now we have one equation and one variable, which is what we want, so we can solve for that variable. So this becomes 6x minus 25 minus 5x equals -10. 6x minus 5x is x, minus 25 equals -10. If we continue up here, then adding 25 to both sides gives us x equals 15. And if we look back at one of our original equations, probably the simpler one would be the easier route to go. If x is equal to 15, then y is going to have to be -20. So then we can see y equals -20. And we have our two values, 15 and -20. And by looking at our original equations, we can verify that both of those indeed fit the original paragraph that we were reading.